Hey, what's up? It's Stick from Woodward Sports. That's what it says on the hoodie. We did our top 20 wide receivers for your fantasy football draft. Now let's get into the top 20 quarterbacks. This is for a standard PPR league. I don't know why you would play anything else but a PPR, but here we go. Number one off the board. I love him. You love him. Super Bowl champion. $500 million man, Patrick Mahomes. You got to take him at the number one spot. It's really between him and one other guy who we'll get into next. But Pat Mahomes has all the weapons. He's got CEH this year for the first time. Tyreek Hill should have a full season under his belt. So, he's going to push the ball downfield to him a lot. And then, of course, Kelsey eating up yards over the middle. Pat Mahomes is the guy. He's the man. He's the myth. He's the legend. He's part owner of the Kansas City Royals. Draft him as your number one quarterback off the board. The only other guy I could see taking before him is Lamar Jackson. And the reason I wouldn't take Lamar Jackson before Pat Mahomes is because I believe Lamar Jackson is going to take a small step back this year. Not saying he's going to fall off the table, but I'm saying I don't think he can repeat what he did last year. Defensive coordinators get paid a lot of money to stop people, and they learned kind of by the blueprint of what the Titans did on how to stop him in the playoffs. And once it's on tape, it's hard to beat that. You know that they're going to stack 8 in the box, make him throw outside the hashes, and it's going to be harder for him to run. But all that being said, Lamar Jackson is an absolute animal and is going to put up crazy numbers. He should be your number 2 quarterback off the board in your PPR draft. Number 3 is a guy I have higher than most. I have him as my number 3 guy. I've seen him down at about number 6 for most people, but I love Dak Prescott. I think he's slept on with how much he runs and also the offense that he's in. I love Kellen Moore's offense. Kellen Moore is amazing at drawing up schemes and just making sure that he's putting Dak Prescott in the situation to win. Plus, you got a solid running game, one of the best offensive lines in the league. You add CeeDee Lamb. They're going to be chucking the ball all over the place this year. So number 3 off your board should be Dak Prescott. Your number 4 is a guy that I took last year in my redraft league, and I did not regret it, Deshaun Watson. I'm not sure how he's going to do this year without DeAndre Hopkins, because he relied on Hopkins a lot, and obviously Hopkins put up crazy numbers for Houston. So logic makes sense that he may not be throwing as much, which means he'll run a little more, which means more points, hopefully more rushing touchdowns, and it'll move Deshaun Watson up the board a little bit. Your number 5 quarterback is Mr. Consistent. Russell Wilson is going to be Russell Wilson. It's not like Seattle has this crazy good offense. They just have Russell Wilson. He runs around. He makes plays. He does things that nobody else in the league can do, and he always puts up pretty much top 5 numbers in fantasy football. I don't see any reason to take him out of my top 5 this year. Number 6 is a guy that a lot of people have higher than I do. I just don't have the faith in him that a lot of people do. His name is Kyler Murray, number 6, your quarterback off your board. He had a great year last year for a rookie campaign. It was also Cliff Kingsbury's first year as an offensive genius in the NFL. And we kind of saw this with McVay, is when you instill a new offense into the NFL, you kind of do well. But then after a while, like I said, defense coordinators find out, they see your tape, they understand what can stop this and what can't. Kyler Murray, I think, had issues last year. He held onto the ball too long, relied on his athleticism a little too much. That's what rookies do, so maybe he'll get better at that this year. But I don't know. I really don't know if Kyler Murray should be like your number 3 quarterback off the board. I think that's too much of a risk in that position. Here at number 6, high risk, high reward. I'd take that. Number 7, kind of like Russell Wilson, we were speaking about consistency. You got Matt Ryan. Atlanta, he's going to put up between 250, 300 yards a game, 2 to 3 touchdowns a game, because that's just what Atlanta does. Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, weapons. Austin Hooper missing is kind of a big deal, but I think they'll find someone. It's not like Hooper was a transcendent tight end. So, Matt Ryan should be your 7th quarterback off the board. And following him is a guy that I'm super interested in. I haven't watched a ton of film on him, but he finished as a number 6 fantasy quarterback last year. So I'm dropping him down 2 spots, mostly because I'm not super familiar with him, and I honestly can't tell you why he did that. But from what I did see is Josh Allen from Buffalo. He's a solid quarterback, and he gets a lot of yards on the ground that are hidden yards, and then they added Stephon Diggs this year. I think he'll be a solid top 10 quarterback again. I just don't see him as the number 6. So take Josh Allen as your number 8 quarterback. Number 9, the dude with all the weapons in the world. If only he could stay healthy and produce all season. Carson Wentz. I mean, you look at Jalen Reagor, who they drafted this year. He's going to stretch the defense, which is going to help out Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. And then you have Miles Sanders having a full year of knowing the offense. He's going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. All you got to do is hope for that Deshaun Jackson doesn't commit career suicide by tweeting stupid things again. That's really all you got to hope for. So I would take Wentz as your number 9 quarterback off the board. And rounding out the top 10, I don't know how you could have a top 10 without this guy in it the past 15 years, Drew Brees. It's his last year. Hopefully it's an Elway-esque season where he wins the Super Bowl, rides off into the sunset. I love Drew Brees. What he did for the city of New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, how he's brought them back, and just the kind of stand-up guy he is. And even after his off-season fiasco about respecting the flag and that being an issue, I thought he handled it well and got his team back, which was it's important for any leader to get his team back, and I think Drew Brees did that. So look for him to have a solid Drew Brees season. So that wraps up our top 10. Now we're going to go through 11 through 20. I'm not going to go past 20 because now we're talking third-string quarterbacks, really. But let's go to number 11, Detroit's own Matthew Stafford. He missed half the season last year, so it's tough to tell exactly what he's going to do. Apparently in training camp, he has looked like an absolute stud, but that's what Stafford does. He looks like an absolute stud. Game days are somewhat of a different story. He puts up the stats, but we're talking fantasy football, so all we care about is stats. That's why he could be a starter in a 12-man league and a full-time starter. So I would take him at number 11. Galladay's going to have his year. Marvin Jones. I love Quintez Cephas. I think he's going to be a sneaky rookie wide receiver. DeAndre Swift catching balls out of the backfield like he did in Georgia. Plus, Stafford went to Georgia. Swift went to Georgia. They're going to play well off each other. I got Stafford at number 11. Number 12, Tom Brady. TB12. It worked out that way, too. New system. New year, I don't know how he's going to do in this offense, but the one thing that makes sense to me, if Jameis Winston can throw for 5,000 yards, Tom Brady certainly can. The only thing that talks me off that ledge is Tom Brady is going to spread the ball out a lot more. He's not going to try those crazy passes. He's not going to have 30 interceptions, so he's not going to be pushing the ball downfield like famous Jameis did. So I got Tom Brady at number 12. Lucky number 13 is an interesting pick for me, because I've never seen him play in the NFL. Nobody's ever seen him play in the NFL. But if you watched him play in college, he's a hell of a player. Joe Burrow, rookie. And yes, I have a rookie in my top 15. I think Cincinnati did a good job getting some tools around him. They got A.J. Green back. You got Tyler Boyd. They drafted T. Higgins. Mixon could be a top 5, top 2 back this year. He's great at catching the ball out of the backfield. They kind of improved their offensive line. Not really, but they upgraded a little bit, and Burrow is just crazy, crazy good on the run. So make sure you draft Burrow as your number 13 quarterback. Number 14, I have this guy dropping a little bit, and it's weird to say that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't even be a starter in a 12-man league, but I wouldn't start Aaron Rodgers in a 12-man league. They didn't add any wide receiver help for him this year. They actually screwed him over by drafting a quarterback in the first round. I don't know if that's going to piss him off and motivate him to do well, or if it's going to piss him off and shut him down and then just be like, I don't care, I'm fucking Aaron Rodgers. Just throw the ball. Either way, I hope he takes the route of Brett Favre. I hope he coaches Jordan Love, and then I hope he goes plays for the Vikings and the Jets. So Aaron Rodgers is your number 14 quarterback. Number 15, this dude has all the tools and the greatest running back in the league. One of the two, Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. So that means Daniel Jones. He hit the boom mark on 30% of his starts last year. If he can up that number to like 50, I'm talking a top 10 quarterback here. Daniel Jones is a good backup to have at 15. I would love to have him as my backup to somebody like Dak Prescott or something. Number 16, Ben Roethlisberger. He's back, hopefully healthy. You know when he's healthy, the dude has a cannon of the arm. The Steelers love to throw the ball downfield. I'm hearing reports out of training camp that James Washington is just becoming a beast at going up over guys and catching the ball. So I would look at Ben Roethlisberger as your number 16 quarterback. And it's so weird having all these guys that have been perennial starters down as your backups, but times are a-changing. You got to change with them. You can't just hold on to old fantasy football ways. Number 17, Ryan Tannehill. I love Tannehill at Miami. I actually drafted him in my Dynasty League and kept him for a long time because when he plays well, he plays really well. Like, he put up numbers in Miami, and they sucked. And then when he got a chance at finally a good team in Tennessee, you saw what he did for that team. It not only benefited Ryan Tannehill, he benefited the Titans taking over from Marcus Mariota. So I love a full year of Ryan Tannehill. Take him at number 17, and you will not be disappointed. Number 18, another new situation, but another great guy that usually was a perennial top 10 guy, Cam Newton. I don't know what the hell Bill Belichick's going to do with him, but I know Bill Belichick coaches to his players, which is important. Cam Newton, hopefully he gets some more running plays this year, hopefully, but they put him in better position than Carolina did, not run the stupid option with him. You know, maybe some reverses or some quarterback. Just, you know, Belichick's going to get creative with the skill set that he hasn't had at quarterback. And, I mean, hell, Brady isn't any near the athlete of Cam Newton. So I'm excited to see what Belichick does with that. Number 19, Mr. Mustache, Gardner Minshew. And before I get this, I posted an article on Woodward Sports. Minshew has teamed up with Bud Light. And if you draft him in the first round of your redraft league, you may win some free Bud Light, a case of Bud Light. I don't know if that's worth it to you. If you like Bud Light, go for it. Minshew may be a top 5 guy, maybe. I don't know. One stat I love about him, passes over 20 yards. He was top 3 in the league, so I don't know. Minshew's got that deep ball. He's got a full year of the offense. He's got DJ Chark. They just let go of Fournette, so you know that Chris Thompson's going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. Minshew at 19, I don't hate it. And then the poor man's Gardner Minshew. I like to call him Baker Mayfield. Everybody was so high on Baker Mayfield last year, and what a flop this guy's been. He should be a solid backup in fantasy, but I wouldn't want to run into a league this year as Baker Mayfield as my starter. So, yeah, I got him down at number 20. If you're in a 12-man league, he should be like the 8th backup off the board. If you're in a 10-man league, he should be the last backup off the board. Baker Mayfield, you're number 20. And that's it for the top 20 quarterbacks for your PPR draft. We're going to do tight ends coming up soon, and I also got running backs. We'll get those out before the end of the week, so that way if you got a draft coming up next week, you have all the information you need. Go to woodwardsports.com right now for pretty much every article. We got them all up, all the rankings if you want to see them individually. But if you want to wait for the video, you can do that too. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe.